Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show. Welcome to the Nuff Said podcast. We are talking Season 2, Episode 7 of Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D., The Writing on the Wall. Of course, we know what this episode is going to be about. I am one of your hosts. I am Radiesthetic Rob Southgate. With me is...
Wow, I am Jumpy Jack Wengroski.
And...
and I'm the adventurous Alil.
Oh, yes, you are. So,
that'll be in next week's podcast.
Gross. So, yeah, I had to look up words, and this one stuck out to me because it's sensitivity to radiation from any source, and I went, how appropriate for Agents of S.h.i.e.L.D. So, and I guarantee I'll forget it by the end of the episode. So, guys, there are so many things to address on this. First of all, before we even get started, what about this Sony doing an Aunt May rumor?
That's garbage.
Now, that's what's funny. I totally thought it was garbage. And then they put out a thing saying, Sony saying, no, we didn't say anything. But you know what the source was on this? It was Latino Review.
Yeah, but they're not 100%.
No, but my gut instinct, and it was right away, even though I was like, yeah, this is terrible. My gut instinct is Sony was testing the waters to see if there was a reaction. I think Sony doesn't know what to do. Because if you look at this line of things they're trying to do, like now, okay, DC has done their big announcement. The MCU has done its big announcement. Fox has a very clear schedule of what the next X-Men movie is. And now, like, things they're doing, I think they're doing Deadpool then. Sony is like, yeah, we're doing Spider-Man 3. And then they go, oh, wait, no, that's off the table. Now we're going to do Sinister 6. And then, now they're talking about doing some Spider movie with a female lead. And Spider-Man got pushed way back, and I've seen different sources giving different calendars. Uh-oh, I had a fits there. Different calendars for when these movies are coming out, and the Sony ones change every calendar I see. Different movies, different dates. I'm like, what's going on? This Aunt May thing, yeah, it seems like garbage, but it came from Latino Review. I'm thinking somebody there planted it with Latino Review to see, let's see what the reaction is to this. We don't know what to do here.
I think that whoever got this information, it was a very small snippet of information, and they got the name wrong. Because...
The name wrong? Why? What do you think it is?
I don't think it was Aunt May. I think it was just that they were going for May Parker, which is the daughter of Mayday.
Yeah,
and because they've talked a lot about a female-centric Spider-Verse in the movies.
That's what
I think that's
thinking.
where I think that's kind of what the initial drop of information, and nobody, unless you know Spider-Girl, which because I'm a Spider-Man geek, I know Spider-Girl. Most people aren't, and they're going to see May Parker, and they're going to be like, oh, it's Aunt May. Oh my God, they're going to do an Aunt May movie, and then they run with it.
Yeah, but did you read the, I think it was an AV Club, where they were talking about what the synopsis was that they were kind of going with? It was based on the Mark Millar book, where it's about how Aunt May is really Peter Parker's mom, and she gave up the baby to her sister, and then when the sister and her husband died, she and Ben took Peter in, but they could never tell their dark family secret, and that whole thing. Did you read it? Did you read about that?
I know the storyline.
Well, they were saying that that's what they were. When you read the synopsis, they said this is what they're saying they're basing it on. if this comes to pass.
See, I read another synopsis saying that that's not what they were going with. They were going to go with like a '60s version of Aunt May, where she was like actually like a spy for the government.
Oh no! Oh no!
I
Sony,
think
give up Spider-Man. Give up the whole Spider-Verse. Give it back to Marvel. Stop it.
I think Charlie would have a conniption.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's already having one right now if he's listening.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And Jonathan, every time we talk Spider-Man, gets very upset with us.
Yes,
he does not
Jonathan, I
believe.
know you're listening. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Now our message Facebook Messenger is going to light up here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. Guys, even though this isn't broadcasting live, I know you're talking about it.
Yeah, but he's got Spidey sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I'm tingling as I speak. They're talking about Spider-Man.
He actually has your house bugged, Rob, so he's listening in.
Like the Ultimate Spider-Man or the Superior Spider-Man with the little bugs everywhere.
Yep. He's got it crawling all over.
I could talk Spider-Man. I threw it out there.
Very
Okay,
nice.
Jack, I got a question before we get into it also.
No, it wasn't me, and it's not blue.
All right, got my answer.
There you
So
go.
moving on. No, Jack, what was the jazz record that Coulson was listening to when he was doing his carving?
Oh my God, I am not sure.
Okay,
And
I listened to it 3 times, and for the listener, you wouldn't know this, but Jack is a jazz musician, and I know a lot about jazz, and it was making me crazy because I can usually identify players, and to me it sounded like a Eddie Lockjaw Davis or somebody like that, but it was a weird cut. Do you think maybe it was just stock footage or something?
I'm not sure. They do have a service like that where people kind of put these things in. I think it was something classic.
I do too, but I don't know what the heck that was.
But it was just so quick, and I really haven't got a chance to go back into it. But it surprised me because it was like so out of the blue, and it was like, wow, wait a minute, like who's playing the hip jazz saxophone thing? And I wanted to say it was like really a little more outside playing. So
No, it wasn't.
you think it was pretty? I mean, it was definitely a hard bop or later. I don't think it was any earlier than.
It sounded like an earlier guy playing post bop.
Yeah, I would kind of look in maybe like the 60s. Let me see what I can find out.
All right, do that because I would really like to know what he was listening to.
So here's one of the
Jack was still in a hole.
I'm stuck. I'm trying to
Wow.
get here.
Having
Well-
a seizure.
See,
Well,
sure.
I'm looking at a reference here about Feige revealed that they regained film rights to The Punisher.
Heck yeah, they did. Okay, you want to talk about that part of this because I've got something to talk about with that.
During the episode, Sky talks about an old cohort, Micro.
Yeah, that's Microchip, who is the guy that works with Punisher.
Right. So since Marvel owns it, are we going to see one or the other? Or I think definitely Microchip. I don't know if Punisher would be a show, but I really hope it would. I think that would be really cool.
Okay, so Alil, you should jump in here too.
I was going to say I don't think the Punisher will be a show yet, just because I think that they've already got the slate really laid out, But I could see them advance casting the Punisher and bringing him into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
See, I'm thinking what they've done a lot of like these almost things where they'll bring in Microchip and then they'll reference the Punisher.
Okay, here's my take on it. I think that all we got was a reference to Microchip. I think we may get another one. I don't think we're ever going to see these guys on here. I think that was the groundwork, and this is what we said last season. I'm still holding to it. Phase 2 of Netflix, Punisher is one of them. There's street-level things. If you look at this first round of street-level Netflix shows, they're all leading up to the Defenders, right? Second round, you're going to have a different cast of these guys, and that's where you're going to get a Punisher story. I really think that's what you're going to get.
I don't know if you're going to get a second round, like you're going to get an all new cast. Because if Daredevil's popular, they're going to keep going with it because they don't have the room or the time
No.
to do that movie.
Here's what I'm thinking they're doing. I think that they're looking at these Netflix shows as a 12-hour movie. Now, granted, if Daredevil is super popular, they might come back for a second dip. but I don't think we're going to have all 4 of those shows happening every season. Like, oh, it's Orange is the New Black, and now it's season 2, and now it's season 3. We may get that with like Daredevil, let's say, but I think that you're more likely to see a series for each of these characters, them maybe making an appearance other ways, showing up in the MCU where possible, showing up on S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe here and there. It depends. But I think that this is a way that they can take those characters that they're not making a Luke Cage movie, okay? But they're gonna make a 12-hour Luke Cage movie on Netflix and be done with the character, or at least as far as making him the focus. I also think that would be the way if like with Hawkeye. I don't think Hawkeye has the juice to be a film, but I think Hawkeye has the juice to be a really great series. Maybe not with Jeremy Renner, though. I think that they would recast before that would happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. I still think that they can still incorporate the Punisher here because they have nothing to lose.
Okay.
Well, like you say, I really think that they'll use Microchip and maybe do some sort of tie-in with the Netflix, because if they pop something on Netflix and it doesn't work, then they don't have really much invested like in network TV. Okay, you've got a few episodes and it kind of stays there and kind of goes away. But if it really takes off, then you've got all sorts of options.
Okay. Well, the reason I think this, the reason I have this hypothesis of how it's going to go, is because of some of the other name checks they've done. They name checked, what was it, Man-Thing?
Yeah.
And they name checked Doctor Strange when they said Stephen Strange in one of the episodes. They're not going to have Doctor Strange on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Unless they're not going to have him on there before he's got a movie. That's for sure. Just like with Iron Man, like there's all that talk that, yeah, maybe someday we'll have Iron Man show up on here, but they wouldn't have Iron Man on and then launch a big movie with him.
Right.
And I think Punisher, they've dipped into the movie realm a couple of times. I think they're better off telling a gritty story on Netflix, and they're going to have a lot more success with it.
Yeah.
And then they can go into other things with that. I think maybe that second level of Netflix is going to be the characters maybe more that are the Lil, the name of the group with the Red Hulk and you know who I'm talking about, right? Venom,
yeah.
Agent Venom.
The Agent Venom, where they're all wearing red, but Deadpool's in that group too.
Yeah, but this is TV. This is TV. It is different. I believe that a lot of these things Marvel has the rights to certain things. And I think they might pull that off. If they did an Agent Venom, that might be something that, like, hey, we beat you to the punch, or we're doing it on TV.
Well, they can't do the Agent Venom because he's owned by Sony.
But are the TV rights owned by Sony?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I want somebody to go get a law degree,
Yeah.
go get a job with Disney, and work your way into that room to find out.
I would love to do it because
and while you're doing that,
life goal.
I want to know if they have decent coffee. Please let me know.
Done. And the group we're talking about, and I'm sorry I was drawing a blank, is the Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yes.
Which, I mean, could work. I mean, Thunderbolts
the first one is Defenders. Why can't the second one be Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Although I don't want that. I don't want Punisher in the Thunderbolts yet. I want Punisher to be Punisher and doing something else.
Because you could do Elektra in that group. You could do Red Hulk in that group. You could do...
Well, yeah, think about it. You could do a series of Elektra in Phase 2. You've got Elektra. You've got Punisher. You might pull off an Agent Venom, since it is TV. And then I think Thunderbolt Ross, maybe. I mean, there's your way of doing a Hulk TV show that's not Bruce Banner and the Hulk. And it's the only time you're going to see the Red Hulk show up. And we know that James Gunn mentioned that he's interested in that series. And I doubt they're going to put together another team. I mean, it's going to be 10 years before they put another team like the Avengers. They're going to do the Inhumans before they do that. They've got Guardians, they've got Inhumans, they've got this. They're not going to crowd it with each of these groups. But like Defenders, they're going to do it on Netflix. They're going to do Heroes for Hire. They're going to end up doing Defenders. Why not? Why not do the Thunderbolts there? And why not do that Canadian team? Yeah.
Because they're all mutants.
Yeah. Not anymore. They're Marvel Miracles. At
Yeah, but
marvelmiracle.com.
I think Alpha Flight is owned by Fox.
No, it isn't. Is it?
Well, they're mutants.
They're mutants, but I don't know if Alpha Flight is actually owned by Fox.
I don't know. I mean, my guess is they would be part of that because North Star is in that group, and he is an X-Men or in and out of the X-Men.
Well, yeah, but
I don't know.
Don't they have that issue with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver?
Well, they've all crossed over, and of course Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. But I mean, Puck is a mainstay in the X-Men. I mean, these are all. If I had to put money on it, I'm gonna say that Fox owns the Alpha Flight team because of their long-standing relationship in the X-Men universe.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man has been in many issues of Alpha Flight. I mean, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, they've all been in it.
Right.
I just think that they're too tied in with the mutants, and I think it might be something that falls into that Fox category.
Okay.
So what do you think they're going to do? I mean, not to get too off topic, but what do you think they're going to do with the Miracles? They've really kind of set this thing up. And
Well, they only said it once. We've been setting it up ever since. I hope we get it. I hope we get some kind of kickback for talking about it so much.
Well, I think the Miracles are going to be. I think it's going to be just a way to describe the characters that fall in between. You know, because Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are mutants, but they can't say it. So they're going to just say Miracles in this way because they were born with their powers. You know, the Inhumans, they weren't technically born with their powers. They were test subjects by the Kree. And we'll get more into detail with that with this episode, in my opinion.
Yes, we will.
And, you know, so I don't know if they're going to go with the Inhumans, if especially because I think they're going to, I really now think they're introducing them in S.H.I.E.L.D., but going into that miracle realm. I think it's just Marvel's term to try to snag as many of the one-off characters as they can.
Okay.
You know, can we have, you know, thank you again, Charlie. I know you're not here, but for bringing up Wendigo, you know, because he's a big character I've seen in many of the X-Men issues here and there that he's coming. But, you know, could that be Sky's father? Could he be a Wendigo? Is that why he's got this? Because he was... I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, that could be some kind of
let's
half
talk.
man, half beast character that could be brought in, and they could use the miracle term to not have to really give an origin story to.
Okay, I want to talk about this for a second. This is all leading up to us actually kind of talking about the episode. But, okay, so to flip the cards, this episode we found out what he's carving. And it's basically blueprints to a city, and right away Twitter exploded with people saying it's Attilan. Okay, Attilan is where the Inhumans are from. And Alil, I know that's what you're thinking. They're going to introduce the Inhumans this way. Jack, you and I have been saying that since last season.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, though. This is why I want to throw this out here. As far as Sky's father is concerned, I was looking this up today. I was looking up Attilan and reading about that. And I was reading about the Inhumans, just like trying to get more familiar with it. And it brought up the Eternals, and I started reading that. And one of the first things it said in the Marvel database about the Eternals is that that they were Inhumans, basically, that splintered off. And one of the things they did was they wiped out this big area in China so that Attilan could be moved there. And as soon as I read that, I went, wait, China wiped out a whole village, but these are kind of the bad guys as far as like this splinter that did that is kind of the bad guys. I don't know if all the Eternals are bad guys. I don't know enough about the Eternals, frankly. But this particular thing it said, I was like, wait, that sounds like Sky's father. So he could be an Eternal, which is tied to these Inhumans, which would explain why she has this Kree blood in her, because they intervened. It's Prometheus, you know? Am I off base here?
No. I mean, I agree. I mean, that's kind of how it's been playing out. I mean, I really think that.
So you think he's going to be an Eternal?
I mean, either that or a cast off Inhuman. Are they going in with the Eternals? It could be. I mean, they have set it up. I'm just not very familiar with all the Eternals, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just
what
not
character. I know what.
Well, if they said
Kronos is one.
Well, and they have ties to Thanos and that whole thing. So, I mean, this could be a way of tying it in even closer to this whole Thanos story, which right after Ultron, that's all going to start cracking open and gaining steam. I think it's just going to be like after Cap 2, that movie's going to hit, and the next episode is going to be like, holy cow, we've got a new game here. And then we go into Civil War, and then we have to deal with Thanos, and it's going to be like, holy cow. And why not have this part of the story playing out on S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah, they could. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to think of the Eternals because the Eternals had their own split internally. And I'm trying to remember who the brother was that was like evil. Because I know it was Kronos. I think it was. I thought it was something with a U. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But I think that they fought also, and then he kind of went off on his own. And he kind of, if I can remember his pictures from the comics, he was really shaggy and big and kind of beast shield like. Maybe that's where they're going with it. With who Sky's father is, Uranus. Well, I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's I wasn't even thinking of the Eternals.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I ran across today and went, wait a minute, there might be something to this. Now, once again, I'm sure Charlie's listening to this and going, oh God, no, it can't be that because blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Somehow, poking around in the dark, Jack and I have been right many times over the last 2 years.
And one of the reference about Attilan is that they moved it to a former Kree location, which takes us right back to the Kree, which the show has been taking us to the entire time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great setup, and Kevin Feige even kind of, at one of their announcements, kind of mentioned that we are going to be introduced to the Eternals a lot sooner than we think.
Right, and I think we are next week.
And that's, either next week or... Yeah,
I don't know if we're going to see Eternals, but we're going to be introduced to the whole concept. Like, people are going to start knowing what this is by next week.
Yeah, and I think that might be how the mid-season finale ends, with some kind of big reveal with that.
Sure.
Well, speaking of big reveals, what about when Fitz was talking to what's his name?
Mac.
Mac, and Mac turns to him and says, so your brain has like a backup?
Yeah, right. Right. You know what? That was such a comic book way of handling it. And in almost any other show, I'd go, what a bunch of bunk. I actually kind of enjoyed that they went that way with this because they got to get out of this hole.
They've got the machine. They just, introduced us to, back to it and said, we just figured out how to use it.
Yeah.
They rebooted Coulson's brain, and they're just kind of sitting around and going, hey, it might work on you. And then they just like totally went back to something else.
Right.
It's like, okay, are they going to save this for next season, or is this going to be...
I think this is happening mid-season also. I don't think we're going to go into the second half of the season with Fitz being what we're knowing Fitz to be right now.
No, I'm wondering if that's going to be part of the like the cliffhanger. Like he'll be at the table, and like the reset is maybe not quite going so good, like what happened with Coulson. Like Coulson screaming, they're holding him down. They think, okay, he's lost it. Our leader's completely crazy. True. And they'll have like the season will end with Fitz on the table, like having seizures and foam coming out of his mouth and going, will Fitz come back? We'll find out after, next bat time, next bat channel.
I agree with you there. I think it'll be one of the many, because that's how these shows do it. You're gonna have 4 or 5 people in peril. Sky will be in trouble somewhere here with Ward. Coulson will be in this way with the Inhumans, and then they'll be back with Fitz here, and like all 3 are in peril. Is any of them going to survive, or one of them? That's kind of how it'll leave it.
What a great comic book word! Like, are they the only ones that ever use peril? I'm like, I'm in peril of
insurance. We use peril all the time.
But it's such a Marvel thing.
Yeah,
peril. You're in peril. Boy,
that was like a lead balloon there, Jack. Very nice.
I put it up there. It landed hard.
Silence is golden.
Hey, Jack, when one of your jokes gets up, Lil and I just say, Corpse diem. Seize that dead joke.
Yeah.
That joke is in peril of dying.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
So,
You know what
okay.
I was gonna say about Fitz? He doesn't seem as bad as he was early on.
I was going to say that this episode, he seemed like he was connecting the dots a lot better. He seemed a lot more there. He didn't stumble on things. He did look at Mac at one point when he was saying something, but it wasn't as bad. So are they going to just organically improve him? I don't think so. I think that tonight was the foreshadowing that, like, yeah, we're going to do something and reboot his head.
You make it sound so fun.
Rebooting your head?
Gonna reboot his head.
We're gonna
Hey, what are
shove
you
him in
doing
this
tomorrow?
machine.
Yeah, and we're gonna reboot Fitz's head, and then we're gonna go out for some drinks.
No, all right.
So we've already talked about Ward here. Not Ward yet, but we talked about the possibility of the Inhumans. What about Ward now? I mean,
Okay. You know what? I have a couple of thoughts on this. First of all, I don't want redemption for Ward, and I'm afraid we're getting it. I think when he coughed up the guy, Bakshi, whatever his name is, to Coulson, and he was like, I could get you so close you could put a bullet in his head. I think that's a setup. I think that he really was giving him over to Coulson.
no, I think he was too, but not. Here's how I'm seeing it now. I still see, because I see Psycho Ward, because Ward is still just creepy. Like the whole time, like him.
Yeah, but are they
going
trying to
bust
make you
bust-
think that?
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a redemption. I think it's more of Ward trying to set up and build the trust with Skye that she's going to come running back to him, and that's what he wants
Okay.
to take her to his father so he can get her forever. However, he thinks in his twisted head it's going to happen. But I don't think it's going to be a redemption with the team or any of that. I think that is out of the question.
No, I don't. Well, I think it's a variation on that. I think if he gets Skye to the father kind of is part of his exit strategy. I don't think he's thinking that, this is all going to take me back to Skye. I think Skye has been an exit strategy for him the entire time. He goes in, he's not unstable. He eluded capture like a number of times, even when they didn't think he knew. Yeah. And, even
that, like when Triplet saw him, and then he's like, I have no idea how he possibly made me. And then he made Mockingbird so quickly, and I'm like, yeah, it's because Coulson's tipping him off so that they don't make a move on him and bring him down.
Yeah. It's.
Wait, I hope that's not the case.
Wait. You think Coulson's tipping Ward off?
Oh, I think Coulson set this up with Ward.
I don't know
want
that
it to be,
setup.
but
I think he's.
I think Coulson let him
allowing it.
escape.
I think he allowed him to escape. I don't think it's like he's like sending him messages and say, hey, I sent, what's her name on the bus to look for you. But he sent, I totally agree. He sent Ward away in that van, knowing full well that he could take that team out.
Yeah, well, and I think, okay, it may not be Coulson, but Coulson has directed somebody to be feeding Ward information. You know who it could be? You know, it could be. It could be Hunter.
I don't think so.
But you know what? It could be Hunter.
No, because Hunter was on the bus and got made.
No, he didn't.
He never got made?
He was on the second bus, and he did not get made.
Okay.
No, and then remember he was sitting outside in his car, and that's when Hydra came in.
Right. Oh, right.
Into that weird bar. I don't think it's Coulson, because I don't think Coulson would do that. No matter what, I still think Coulson feels for his team. Even though there's an end game here, I don't think he would be teaming up with Ward. I think that's kind of that one step too far. I think he would know that he would lose his team if they found that out.
Okay.
Because everyone sees Fitz. That's right there, the vision that they all have of what Ward did and what Ward.
True.
So I think that's just too much for them.
I hope so, because that kind of breaks the show for me.
Well, I think the exit strategy it keeps them from having to have a redemption. Like, he can operate on the fringe. He can drop off an occasional bad guy. He can go back to Hydra. He can pretty much do whatever he wants. Although Hydra didn't seem also excited to see him,
Right.
or something pissed him off to wipe out everybody in that thing and to deliver, their head guy. So, I think, he's out there. He's kind of getting to do what he wants to do, but he doesn't get to come back and join the team. He's like a floater. He's a merc.
Okay.
And that's where he stays, I think.
I hope so.
Deadpool? No. Oh, Fox, give him up. But did you guys get the name drop there with Ward at the bar?
Which name drop? Oh, when he said Strucker is overseas. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. It was a nice little tie-in, because we know Strucker's coming up in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, well, Strucker is definitely going to make an appearance, just like they did once again with Captain America. I think that we're going to hear more about Strucker going forward, so that by the time he hits, it's got a lot more power. Because a lot of people don't even know who he was at the end of that movie. It's just kind of like, who?
Right.
So I think the more they talk about him, it'll be like, oh, the guy at the end of Guardians. Yeah, sweet.
At the end of Cap 2.
I thought it was at the end of Guardians. Oh, no, it was the end of Cap 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guardians clip was Howard the Duck.
Right, I forgot that.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
Oh. And you know what? I was just going to watch the original Howard the Duck, too. So now that's all ruined. Aw.
It's over. You should just go watch Sci-Fi Channel's Man Thing and be done with it.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter. No, you got peanut butter in my chocolate.
You know what? I don't plan on watching Sci-Fi Channel's Man Thing. I'll just tell you that right now.
Why not?
I would love to see a Man Thing movie, but not Sci-Fi Channel's version.
Oh.
I heard it was terrible. Did you watch it a little?
Yeah.
It's terrible, right?
I have a DVD copy of it.
Shut up.
I do. I own.
Is it any good?
Everything. No. Oh no. It was pretty bad. It was. I don't know how to compare it. One of my favorite actors of all time is Bruce Campbell, and he did a terrible Sci-Fi Channel movie called Alien Apocalypse, and that looked like an Oscar-nominated movie compared to Man Thing.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yes, Man Thing was. It was like incoherent. Like I didn't no, you could not understand what was going on in that movie. And if somebody out there does and they think I'm wrong, please let me know.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but horrible things about that movie.
Well, it's it's good that they got the rights and the interest to do it, and then did such a poor job.
All right.
Okay, so what haven't we covered yet?
Let's see. Sky Fitz.
I think we've basically really covered the main points. I mean, because Coulson finding out that it was, the 3-dimensional.
Oh, that whole process was awesome.
It was.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really clever, too.
I agree. I really thought it was cool because, I don't know if that, agent who had his brainwashed, even realized what he was doing. And maybe because he did it and he saw it in 3 dimensions, it went away. How when Coulson...
Well, yeah, that's what Coulson was saying. As soon as... Because when Coulson was hanging there, he was stressing, too. And then all of a sudden he looked over at the model and was like, oh, wait a minute. And when he got that... What was his name? Sebastian Derrick was the name of the guy that was freaking out and carving people up. He got him to look at it. That awakened him also. And that's why Coulson was like, look... He's not going to do anything now. It's like whatever this was that was driving us crazy, solved.
Right. But they did kind of, they did kind of get the karma thing where he said, he's got sins to pay for before this all happened. So we're going to punish him, just not for, the crazy part.
Right.
Like some stuff that he did before.
Yeah. He's still got things going on. But
right. He doesn't get a free pass. He just kind of he's not a nutcase anymore. And I was kind of glad that, we've solved this whole thing where is Coulson, is he going to lead or is he not going to lead? Because even Mac was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to hold down, the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. just in case, he goes crazy.
Yeah. I like Mac had a couple of good ones. He had that one and then he had the one where he's like, aliens, psycho killers. What did I join here?
Yeah.
That was really funny. I mean, and then like everyone, he's like, "Could you imagine if our leader was part alien?" It's like,
Right, this guy's like,
yeah, that would be hard to imagine.
yeah.
It's kind of like the X-Men, where they're it's like the kind of prejudiced, almost, will there be like a civilian alien kind of rift?
Yeah, well, Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked
I wonder
about
if
that.
Civil War will affect this show because of that, because of the alien DNA thing.
Well, that exchange kind of, I think kind of hinted towards it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean,
Maybe that'll be the tie-in.
We're what 2-3 years from Civil War, but I 2 years.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee the show will last that long. Although I really hope it does.
Yeah,
I think it will. You know why? Because because
you've got it on every TV that you encounter. You go to Best Buy and turn it on every TV.
I do, but it's also a commercial for Marvel.
Yeah.
That they can plug in just to keep the audience going. Even though it's not pulling in the movie ratings, it's still out there and still known. And they even have the commercials on TV. Marvel just keeps flashing on the screen. It's kind of like it's like the Hydra hypnotizing.
Well, and Disney owns ABC, so
right. So it's
they're paying for a commercial every week, but they're putting out something good because they don't want to sully the brand. And I think, if you look at how people are responding to it this season, the numbers are okay. They've gotten better, but the reviewers and the people that last year were just tearing it apart aren't tearing it apart anymore.
But it's really got its feet. It's much more enjoyable. It's much more the storylines are much easier to follow. They're more consistent.
Yeah.
And I think it works. It's nice to have those kind of little Marvel references in this format where you don't have to wait for a movie. You've got a nice little, you've got your hour little program, and it brings really hints of, and the advertising of things that are going to come. And I see this thing going, 7-10 seasons easy.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I really do.
What season are they going to get new hosts for this show? Because my gosh.
I was just about to say
10 seasons.
How long are we going for?
Wow.
Yeah, we'll be in our 70s going, these young kids don't know what it was like when we had to turn a comic book page.
Back when Thor was an Avenger.
He could barely lift that hammer back then.
Back when Thor was a man.
Thundercats, ho. That's all I got to say.
I'm starting to think that
Rabbi?
Aunt May is looking pretty good to me.
When I was a kid, I thought that was ridiculous. But
These are the worst impressions of old people.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys just have to talk normal.
Oh, you're off the show. Special guest, Lil.
I know, I'm like BJ Britt. Like, you always see him in the credits, special guest. And I'm like, get Triplet a normal freaking credit. God.
Lil's been promoted to our Cleveland correspondent.
You know what's going to be the best is when your League of Geeks buddies listen to it and they go, Lil made a joke. How come he's never funny on our show?
Oh,
he's out.
Wow.
Yep.
You've
alienated the big dogs now, Lil.
Yeah, you've alienated the whole community. Nice job.
I'm alienating a Lil.
That'll be my name next week.
Alienating a Lil.
I'm thinking that's going to be on your business cards.
Who can afford those? Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, you go to Vistaprint and you get them for free.
Vistaprint.
Oh, a funny Vistaprint story. I was playing a big band gig, which you don't see too many of those anymore. But
I remember when bands were big.
And I give the trumpet player my business card, and
then you are the trumpet player. Sorry.
And the other guy the next week he hands me his business card and he says, "Man, I was looking at this and it was the same Vistaprint card." Same design, same layout, same everything.
And he went, "Oh, free?" And you went, "Yep, free."
Yep, free. Thank you, Vistaprint.
Thanks, Vistaprint.
This show is not sponsored to you by Vistaprint.
No, that'd be awesome, though. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. So before we go, I do want to mention that Southgate Media Group, our parent company, is now doing live shows, live podcasts at the Blue Box Cafe in Elgin, Illinois. It's going to be every Saturday night, kind of until they tell us no more. So we at least know we're there through the end of January, and we're expecting it, and they're expecting it to go a lot longer. So if you are in the Chicagoland area and it's a Saturday night, come out to the Blue Box Cafe. It all starts this weekend. We are putting it on the website. We are sending out information about that. Get on our email list if you're thinking about coming. And we sent out the flyer, which had really cool artwork on it, about this week and about all the upcoming weeks. We have a schedule on there. So I just wanted to point that out because those live shows are so much fun. And this week, the 15th of November, we are doing Superhero Night. And we're going to have a live version of Nuff Said, followed by a special guest, mystery guest. You can read that as I haven't lined anybody up yet. And Lilith is going to be in to do Channel 52 Live, which is going to be a DC kind of roundtable. So expect a Marvel DC cage match to break out at any point.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I just wanted to bring that one up. You can find past episodes of this on our newly redesigned webpage, www.southgatemediagroup.com. And you can find all our social media links on there, the past episodes, what people are listening to. There's all sorts of stuff. And we've got sponsors on there. And, let's highlight a sponsor. In fact, this is something cool that happened this week. We have iTunes as a sponsor, which I was very surprised by. I didn't know they sponsored things.
Oh.
And basically on the page, down, like partway down, you'll see a thing for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You can click on it, and it takes you to iTunes where you can download episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I thought that was really cool. It's got the current season on there. So if you're somebody who listens and can't watch it, well, here's a way you can watch it. Get it through iTunes, right through our website. And if you do that, it helps us out. And let's see, we should give our Twitter addresses. The show Twitter is Nuff Said Pod. I tweet from @rsouthgate. And Jack?
I'm at J1 Grosky.
Okay, and Lil?
I'm at LOGEEKZ. And that stands for the League of Geeks, which is the other podcast I do.
Yep, and we have a link to that on our website too. So if you want to check it out, just click on the ad that we put on there, and it takes you right to their website.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's an awesome show, even though Lil's on it and never makes a joke.
I was going to say sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's always an awesome show. We have awesome guests, and we're really happy to be a part of this big podcast universe we've got.
Yeah, it's very cool. And Jack, you also do other shows, right?
Yes, I've got the Blacklist, and we'll be starting a new one apparently on State of Affairs, and I have a very nice trumpet blog, so go and check that out on the Southgate Media Group website.
Yeah, if you're a trumpet geek, go to blogs and look up Jack's Trumpet Time, I think it's called, something like that. Trumpet Talk, Trumpet Time?
Trumpet Talk. Okay,
we might have it wrong on the website, so we'll have to go check. That's it. I think we're done. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
No.
Onomatopoeia?
Excellent. All right, onomatopoeia. I am Rob Southgate. Oh, I'm sorry. Radiesthetic Rob Southgate. I remembered.
I am Jumpy Jack Wengrosky.
And I'm changing it to alienating a lil.
Yeah.
We all knew that's what you really were anyway. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We will catch you. Is it next week?
Yes, it is next week.
No hiatus. All right, we'll catch you next week. Until then, Nuff Said.
Nuff said.